Welcome to Gallery Watch. I'm Michelle Patricia Bunting, and tonight we are here at Picasso Art and Framers for the launch of their very first exhibition, Other Truths. So how did you decide who to have?
Who was going to
how did you decide on the artists?
Well, it all sort of, the catalyst was framing Judith Brooks' works, and we were talking about how many local female artists there are that we deal with as a picture framer, and coming in and where are we seeing their work? There's no local galleries of showing them, and that's when we thought, let's have an exhibition of purely women that we know that do good work and we frame for them and that we love and people are going to love and enjoy. And straight away the four that came to mind, as well as Judith, were Liz Gray, Lyndall McCulloch, Rebecca Wetzler. And it's just funny how they've gradually formed a relationship between themselves while setting up the exhibition. They've, with no contact with each other, there's been this floral repetition, and the skulls have somehow found a place in it as well. This underlying whole exhibition is that female form, that they have that closeness with each other.
Walking into your store is like this massive breath of fresh air. Just there's so much creativity and just this ability to kind of make things work that other people wouldn't even be able to imagine or conceptualize.
That is so good to hear, because I think the key is not matching things together, letting things just be. Each piece has its own right, and it's really good to hear that when you come in they seem to all work together, because they should. If each thing has its own individuality, it should work and stand alone with all the others, and you can find that relationship between things.
And so Other Truths, how did that name come about?
Well, it was more a thinking about, when you see an artwork, and there was almost like another truth behind each artwork and what we were reading from different things, and it just sort of came about as we weren't reading the same things from each different artwork. The three of us framing in the back is what I'm referring to. So, yeah, there was another truth and other truths behind each of the pieces.
Tell me about the inspiration behind these beautiful charcoals.
Oh, thank you. It's a passion for portraiture for a start, passion for charcoal, being able to literally use my hands, leave my own fingerprint upon the artwork, and I just love studying people. But what I like the most is to try and not just to do a portrait, but to actually try and bring out what's invisible within people, like a sense of vulnerability, things we don't usually see, fear, passion, love, things like that. Because most people have insecurities, most people have vulnerabilities, passion, and they're all things that everyone experiences. Years ago, I loved drawing, and then I thought, well, drawing is not trendy, And then I started doing, this was my first one, and then the process is just really, it's almost like sculpture. Because of the charcoal, it gets in all the grains of your hand, and you actually immerse yourself in the art, and I love it. It's like you're moulding with the charcoal like you would mould a sculpture, because it's three-dimensional. I'm trying to create a three-dimensional form on that two-dimensional surface.
Talk me through this piece.
All right, now I do actually have a skull on my table in my lounge room. I've haven't felt comfortable to draw the skull because skulls have that depressing, morbid, macabre connection. I thought, no, how can I create that so it doesn't necessarily mean something macabre? So, and I realised, well, skulls have, it's like a death of a part and a new journey for something else. There's lots of meanings, symbolic meanings for skulls. So I'm really happy to start drawing skulls now. There probably wasn't really that much of a symbolic meaning. I think I just drew it. And then I thought, well, what can I have with it? And so I thought, well, roses. Lots of people are having tattoos at the moment, so I guess that was a little bit, you see tattoos around, so I guess there's that connection there. But the further I went, I created more of a story with it. So the skull is starting to create a story now. It's not just a skull. Yes.
The other images here tonight, are they people within your family or people that you know?
I try not to do a portrait. I just try to create, even though they're portraits and most of them are beautiful women, I try to create an attitude or I want them to be confronting. That's why they look at you. They're looking at you all the time, and they just have to have a strong attitude for women. I look at a lot of fashion magazines and I get a bit of this and a bit of that, and I create this ideal person I want, this attitude I want. So I do use a lot of top quality photography magazines, and then I just create it.
And so what are some of the attitudes you're trying to embody?
Oh, look, I did have a little story. Dare I say it?
Please do.
A number of years ago, I got divorced later on in my life, and I had to start dating. I hadn't done it since I was 17. I was married when I was 19. All of a sudden, I'm out in this world of dating, and I got my heart broken, like we all do. And I'm limping around, feeling very sorry for myself. And then one moment, something stuck in my head, and I said, "What's wrong with you, woman? Get some attitude." So I started creating women with attitude. So that's my story, and it's true.
So can you talk me through some of the work that's here tonight?
This one was based on a drawing I did for a Fashion Week show in Melbourne, based on Alana Hill's clothes, because I did an exhibition with all these different designers, and all these artists were paired with a designer. So yeah, it's based on her clothes, and she actually thought that was a drawing of her, but it wasn't, so that was kind of funny.
And so are you usually drawn to bright colours, or?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I like to, it kind of like balances with the lines, I think, to add bright colours. It just feels right. I don't know. Yeah.
And what about this one down here? Because this is something completely different.
Yeah, Christie wanted a piece that I had on my old, I think she just found it on the internet, and it's not even on my website anymore, of these wolves I did for a fashion designer when I first started, and I didn't want to do that piece again because I didn't like it, so I just did a new drawing of some wolves, and yeah, I thought that these were more dynamic looking than the other ones I drew, hopefully.
Tell me about this one, please.
That one's based on Helmut Newton photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just kind of, it's actually, I've got a really big canvas that I did of that, and so this is a smaller version, and yeah, it's just wanted something really simple, black and white, dramatic looking, hopefully.
With the green nails.
Yeah, I thought I'd make it a bit more modern.
Yeah.
I had red originally in the painting, but I thought I'd make it different, yeah.
Don't go anywhere. Gallery Watch will be right back after this commercial break. Was it difficult to break into the industry, or was it something that just kind of flowed?
It was difficult because I didn't really get paid too much in the beginning.
I've always been obsessed with what paint can do, and I'm also fascinated with people and what makes them whole and vibrant.
Welcome back to Gallery Watch. We are here at Picasso Art and Framers for the launch of their first exhibition, Other Truths.
This one is based on a photo of Kate Moss, and I originally did that for Oyster magazine. I used to do their beauty page, and so I thought it'd be nice by itself, and so I brought it back to life. Yeah.
Was it difficult to break into the industry, or was it something that just kind of flowed?
It wasn't. It was kind of like, it was difficult because I didn't really get paid too much in the beginning. But I kind of, before I finished my degree, I'd emailed Oyster and Mimco and all these designers, and I actually got a job with Oyster straight away, and Mimco and all of these people, all these designers said yes to me doing some drawings for them in Sydney, so then I just moved to Sydney and worked for all of them straight away.
Right.
So that was a good start for my folio. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's in store for you for the rest of the year and next year?
I've got a few murals coming up and just different commissions, like lots of random stuff, like from all over the place. Yeah, I'm not sure. You never know what's way ahead, but.
Lyndall, can you tell us about the work that's on display tonight, please?
Well, I'm an etcher, and so I like to put a fairly bold image and often use people as my subjects, but you'll see there's a few fish and animals creep in as well. I'm very interested in bright colours, so I do a basic etched outline, then hand colour it with ink, and I often work in series, as you can see. These are based on Renaissance women, and so also interested in putting interesting titles on them, something a bit quirky. So it's a very peaceful process for me, because once I've etched it I can sit there and just muse and colour them in basically, so I really enjoy it. So I hope they project that sense of peace to the world.
And so why Renaissance women?
I just love those classical pictures. They're such talented artists, and for some reason one of their hairs, this one at the top, suggested fish to me, and that series all started from there because of the way her hair goes in and out like this.
And talk me through some of the catchy titles you've come up with.
Well, there's one over there with fish have been drinking a little bit, and these ones are chatting to their neighbours. So I call these my Atlantis women. So it's like there's a whole Paris conspiracy behind them.
you take me through the process of etching?
I usually start with a metal plate and then put wax over the surface. Then you scratch your design in, put it in an acid bath, and that eats a line into it. So when you take it out and clean the wax off, you wipe ink all over it and then put it through an etching press, and that picks up the black line. And then because the paper's dry at that stage, you have to wait 2 or 3 days for it to dry. And then I get like Indian ink and paint them in.
Indian ink?
Like permanent water-based ink, or some are shellac-based, and I like the very brightly coloured ones.
How long did each one of these take to create?
Probably a couple of weeks because of the slowness of the drying time, and then when you're hand colouring them, you have to wait for each colour to dry or they run into the next. So if I start to daydream, it's actually very easy to wreck one.
And so how long have you been etching?
About 5 or 6 years. At the moment I have a full-time job. I'm a primary school teacher, and so in a couple of years I'll retire, and then I can do this to my heart's content. Really looking forward to it.
What do you make of the exhibitions called Other Truths? How does that relate to what you've created?
I think there's always a funny message behind my work, so what you see on the surface probably isn't the whole story until you read the title. There's more happening there than you think.
And have you shared the full story with us tonight?
Well, there's always more to the story, thank you.
Can you talk me through the pieces that are on exhibition tonight?
Yes, I don't have great statements to make about my art. I love paint and I love its tactile qualities, and I've always been obsessed with what paint can do. And I'm also fascinated with people and what makes them whole and vibrant. So I think I'm always drawn to that. I'm always drawn to the beauty in people, both inside and outside, and so that's what I paint, and I love it. I recently bought an underwater camera, and I was absolutely amazed at what you can see underwater, and this one is all about reflections. So it's called Reflections. So it's really about what the two girls are talking about, reflecting on something as well as the reflections in the water. Well, I've got 2 beautiful daughters. One of them is over there, and they're fantastic models for me. So, I watch my daughters, I love them, I take pictures of them all the time, and I just watch life go by and paint what I'm drawn to. Yeah, and sometimes those moments become poetic because they are trying to capture moments in life which makes people vibrant and whole.
What's it like having an artist for a mum?
Well, it's quirks. I really love it. It's definitely coloured me as a character. I mean, you come home and it smells like turpentine, and she constantly asks, can you pose for a picture? And I love it. It shaped me as a young artist, but also, it's just really good. I love it, yeah. So I think that one's me there, swimming in the pool, but yeah.
And so what happened? She just came up and just said, girls, can I paint you?
Yeah, so I remember after high school, after school every day, she's like, I need you to pose you for a teacup party, and so we'd all, okay, Mom, and sit there with our teacups, so yeah, it's been really fun actually.
When you are passionate about something, when you see something that inspires you, it stays with you in your mind. I also use photography, so I take a lot of photographs, and I think then when the painting process starts to be energetic and to be inspired by that moment, and I think that then automatically is displayed on the canvas. I think if you're not inspired by the moment you're painting, you know, what you get is dead. So you've got to have that inner energy, and it actually then comes out.
What's the process? Can you take me through the process of creating this?
I just use thin paint with a reasonably small brush. So I dilute it with turpentine and just draw it out with thin paint. And then I'll get straight in and paint. So I paint quite quickly, energetically, get it down as fast as I can. Because I think, you know, if you spend too much time, it gets boring and you lose interest in that special moment that you're trying to convey.
So how do you create, because I don't know, like there's so many different textures, it feels like, with the painting. How do you actually create that?
I use a lot of palette knife. So it's like a little knife that you load up paint with a palette knife, and you actually put it down with the knife. So you actually paint with a knife. The figures are all done in palette knife. The water would be done with a big brush, so thick paint. It's really called dry brushing. So after I've done the whole thing, I just dry brush on the white reflections. I think, you know, art should be more than just a pretty picture. So I don't like to say too much, because I think if you say too much, you kind of close off what some people might interpret the work as. So there are various truths in the work, and I think it's very open to your own interpretation. Let it be a little bit of a mystery.
It's really interesting speaking to the artists. That's come out a lot as well when you ask them about, okay, the exhibition's called Other Truths, how does that relate to your work? And they're like, well, you know, it's a bit of a mystery. Yeah. It is. Each person brings to it their own experience and their own interpretation, and we don't want to give too much away because we want them to have their own experience with it, not what I tell them it's about.
Exactly that. And I think everyone's been really low-key and happy to work with each other, so there hasn't been any major direction as far as any of the exhibition goes. It's really been like, right ladies, what are we doing? Where are we putting out there? And so long as we all agree and enjoy it, then it works, then yeah, that's the best part, is being happy with what we're doing and putting on a show and just enjoying it. And there's less of a seriousness about it, yeah. There's not enough smaller galleries showing local artists as there should be, and just having people here tonight supporting it shows that, you know, there's a want for it, there's a need for it. And during the week what we do here is just picture frames, so everyone's got something they want framed, so whether it's an artist or whether it's, you know, anybody else, it's nice to see everything that comes in, definitely.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Gallery Watch. Other Truth runs until October 3, and for more information visit Picasso Art and Framers Facebook page. I'm Michelle Patricia Bunting, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Gallery Watch.